DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, I hope you're all well. Today is Thursday and I'm looking forward to the weekend. I bet you are as well. But yeah, it's been a big week. It's cold over here, although not quite as cold today. But people are talking like, really, it's funny, as autumn came, all of a sudden the weather cooled. No global warming here right now, that's for sure. Anyway. Okay, so what I thought I'd chat about today. Well, I was going over an article that I saw. I guess this could have been in the New York Times. So it's not a political article, don't worry. I don't like their politics all the time. But anyway, so it's this one. It's what all that touch deprivation is doing for us. And I thought it was actually quite an interesting one because for a lot of us, that is a problem. It really is. But we'll be able to chat about that as time goes on. Is that, I mean, it's a thing that, we often talked about with single people, or the elderly. They don't get as many hugs, or they don't, and so on, and not getting touched by people in a, non-intrusive manner. But they're just like saying, it's doing a lot of problems actually for a lot of people for their mental health. And as they were saying is that, the fact is that today, in today's world, actually a lot of problems that are coming up is that a lot of people are becoming extremely stressed and nervous and angry or what. And a lot of that is not only, well, we could say it is all because of the coronavirus, but it's because they're not, not getting the affection and the touch and so on that they needed. And there was a few points that I found that were quite interesting on that. There was one article was like, what kind of touch are people missing? Well, I was thinking of myself actually. Okay, I'm married, so we're still able to cuddle, but I was really missing, and still am, just like when the family would come over and we'd hug and a quick kiss, and as soon as the confinement stopped and I was, well, it's still kind of there, but you know what I mean, and I was able to hold the grandkids, and I have to admit, is that I love to hold them anyway, but it's almost like even more important now. But they were saying, like on the article, what kind of touch are people missing? And one of the things is that they were missing the tighter, longer hugs that accompany a reunion. So, like some people, they were saying a lot of people who live alone like to have massages because it's as they call that heavy touch. Somewhere they were talking about that people, if you really need something, is like to hold maybe even something that's rather heavy but not it won't hurt you, and like basically would almost say press it on you, because just so it gives you more than just like a little touch, a little kind of mild touch, but something that really goes and gets those, as they call it, the touch receptors. They were talking about that. That was kind of interesting. There was also an article a point in the article about once the hairstylists reopened, how people were actually doubly enjoying that hair massage, or being like almost like a cat, and basically basking into the possibility of being touched again. That was kind of interesting. Then of course they were saying that not rare to see people, oh, there goes my piece of paper, sorry about that, be all messy, about people even touching their screens, but that doesn't do the same thing at all, does it? So yeah, so what they were saying, how to cope with touch deprivation. So they were saying that some people have cultural aversion to touch, and that actually maybe makes it easier. But for others, as I was saying, age, genetics, or different coping mechanisms, it's been really, really difficult. So what are they saying here? For example, if you can't touch, but there was a question of seeing a friend, booking a massage, things that people used to be able to do, but more difficult now. And they were saying that in the nursing profession, it's also become difficult because anybody who's in the nursing profession knows that the elderly or the sick like to, have a time when they're touched. And so not touching people, which has now all of a sudden become normal, is a real difficult situation for people who are in those jobs. So what was it? Oh yeah, so for example, like I said, parents, particularly parents with their children, the children aren't so much of a problem, but it could be grandchildren and so on. Well, we've kind of got around that one right now. But yeah, I think the thing is that also the whole question of, the shaking hands and so on, but that isn't the same, is it? I mean, we're here talking about intensive touches that will really help you, to cope through emotions and so on. But tell me, a lot of you actually who are going to be watching this, you're single. You don't live with someone. Of course, you might have met up with somebody and had an intimate moment, or you had friends where you shook hands or what, but how do you cope with the lack of touching lately? Or how have you always coped with it? I guess that might be not a bad thing to hear, because a lot of people are really having a lot of problems coping with it. Anyway, so you just tell me about that. And I'm losing my papers again. Sorry about that. I'm not on the table where I usually am. Sometimes I'm at the bench. Okay, anyway, that'll be DC. Signing off. Take care, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Bye-bye.